Hey guys, welcome to the release of the Invincible Playground mod. I'm going to go through quickly some of the changes, but most of them will be in the Steam description of the mod, which will be below in the description. Starting off, we have the new Viltrumites. They have a lot more variety in hairs and skin color, so you can be black, tan, or white. And yeah, they vary in size, but you can still customize them, changing their skin and stuff like that. And this is also a pretty good time to explain the strength system. So random Viltrumites will now spawn with this mass class. Okay, so mass class is the durability and strength system. Now, there are two ways to change someone's strength and durability. The things are tied. You either change the value directly to whatever you want, or you choose a mass class, which will just have presets for you. There's a small glitch right now where the button will not update regardless of how strong someone is, but let me tell you that D is 10, C is 20, B is 30, and it goes up by 10s. So if we click S again, it should update, so now he is the correct class. It's S. That is purely visual. All the damage calculation and durability has nothing to do with what this little button says here. It all has to do with what the number says down here. So anyways, the Viltrumites are around the level between S and SS. This is your low to high to mid-range Viltrumite strength. A is about like immortal, Mauler level strength. B is like enhanced humans, so stuff like Rex or people with generic super abilities. And D and C are for your average thugs that might know how to fight, like, you know, they can throw a punch or two. So the punch system is very intuitive. So we'll see how strong this person is. They're about 41.3 strength. So we'll just make them start punching each other a bit. And as you can see, it does damage. But Viltrumites, they heal. They heal over time. And the speed of that healing is either chosen by you or by how much health they have. The larger, the more healthy you are, the easier it is for you to regenerate damage. Now, as long as your head is alive, you still should be able to regenerate damage just a little bit. So even if all your limbs are like on near death, as long as your head is in good shape, you still should be able to stay conscious. But once that head breaks, you're cooked. Now, if you hit, damage is calculated. Everyone's strength value has a max and minimum damage they can do. Minimum is always 0, because so you don't just send a normal people playing on person flying when you just tap them. But maximum is calculated by how strong you are. So the strongest someone can hit is once they go fast enough, and you can tell that you hit that really strong punch when a blood particle effect happens. So as you can see, he hit his max damage, and that did a pretty significant amount of damage. But that's because we've been throwing them around at each other a lot, and he's stronger. But even though this guy's weaker, if he gets a good hits in, he can honestly beat this guy. It's not impossible. This makes for very dynamic fights. Viltrumites also have powers. Powers that I will show with other characters. So we'll start with Mark. We'll put him in his iconic, his blue suit, because that's what's happening in the show right now. And then we'll throw Conquest in. We'll give him his thing. So Conquest is a high tier Viltrumite, so he has a power level of about 65, whereas Mark has about a power level of 50 when he's in his blue costume. Mind you, skins can also change the power level. As you can see with Alan, he's at a strength of 50 right now, but if we beef him up, boom, it changes to 60. He's about the strength of Nolan, which is about roughly how he was when he was restored. Anyways, so the Viltrumites have many powers. The first is full power strike. By pressing H on the hand, this effect starts happening. And as long as the strength discrepancy between you and someone else isn't too high, you can go past your limits a little bit and hit for about 2.5 times your maximum strike. So we'll slow down, we'll do slow-mo right here, and we'll hit Conquest just so you can see the effect that happens. Okay, that was a little bit of a weak hit, and I think I actually turned off the power by accident. So we'll get you back up there, and we will do this. We'll turn that power back on, and then, boom! A big shockwave. And actually, it did damage to Conquest, despite him being a lot stronger than Mark. Now, another cool thing about this is that it applies knockback to people nearby. So if we make Mark do this again, those people go flying, and they take a lot of damage because they were in the path of their fight. Now, God forbid Conquest does this to Mark. We're going to see what happens. Let's just do this. Boom. That, like, almost instantly kills him. but Conquest isn't the type of person to hit with his full strength off rip. But since Mark is really damaged, this gives me a chance to show off another Viltrumite power. By pressing R on the head, you can cycle between the modes. Now we're on chop mode. By pressing H, this will happen. You'll get a little red effect around your arm. And chop mode is very smart with how this damage is calculated. Depending on how strong you are, the person the limb needs to be at a certain health for you to be able to hurt them. For someone like Conquest here, Mark's limbs have to be at least around 20% health or lower to be able to chop them off with a strike. And when it does, a cool effect happens, and the limb is chopped. Chop chin. Sorry. Anyways, so that's that. Another cool thing that they can do is, and let me show you what happens when you try to do a chop when they're just too strong. Nothing happens. You can't chop his limb off if he's that strong. But then we get someone really weak like a normal human, it happens almost instantly, because like that's a normal guy compared to Conquest. And then the last skill is Pierce. Now Pierce is also something that isn't really, you don't really have to worry about strength discrepancy. You stab your fist into them, and then a blood effect happens, and it does pretty significant damage. I just want to make Conquest. Conquest is a little big, and I got a lot of quests to make him bigger, which kind of makes him a little slow when it comes to getting up. So if you want him to be a little bit easier to manage, I would recommend slightly shrinking him down a little bit. He still has his big mass, but he is easier to stand up. Anyways, that's the Viltrumite powers. And then we have, generic flying around. Another thing about the mass system is that characters that are like S-class or higher, you can't rip them apart by doing this. They're really tough. But then if I move Mark down to, like, let's say A strength, I can rip them apart like that. Because, doing that, it will do it. So another thing about the punch power is I told you guys how speed and how strong you are dictates how, hard you can hit. There's also punch power level. By setting this does not make your punch stronger. It instead makes it easier to hit your max power punch. So 0 would turn off the punch power, making regardless of how fast you're going, you're not going to do any damage. Whereas 5 would make every little tap as if you're doing I think it's actually 10, but I forgot to set the number. I'm going to quickly set it to 10. So yeah, every little hit will be as if you're doing your full strength punch. So then we make him like simply tap a human. Look at that. And I think that's about it for the punch power. And also, regeneration can be edited as well. Mark has his variants still, and you can change the strength between them. And yeah. Alright. Moving on. We have, what was the next thing? Oh yeah, Cecil's teleport got a little bit of an update. The effect now is in front of him. I just thought that would make things a little bit easier. Now, the next thing I really am happy to show is Rex's new powers. I remember last time I showed you guys how he can simply do stuff like picking up items and turning them into bombs that you can throw. But now, those things actually do damage. And we also have 2 new abilities. By pressing R on his arm 2 times, we get Disc. Holding H will create a small little disc in front of his arm that you can shoot out, like his pellets in the show. And these actually, if you spam a lot of them, actually do some damage. Now, there is one more power that Rex has. By right-clicking on his head and then hitting Rex Explosion, you can now hold H on his upper body and charge a skeleton. And then, that happens. And even someone like Mark would be killed, just like how his variant was killed. Next is Robot. He doesn't have powers yet. That will be saved for Beta 3, which is coming out soon. But I just wanted to add him into the game because my team did a fantastic job in his sprite, and I just thought it was really cool. I also realized that not a lot of Invincible mods have the Robot in the game. Just want to stop a little bit quickly to also say thank you to MC Studios for helping me. Thank you to the Redux team. And also thank you to Nova Interactive for allowing me to use the changing sprites code. I think that was fantastic of them. Next is Battle Beast. He now has a better looking head, which I'm very happy about. Mauler twins are also in the game, and they have a nice little skin where they have a little lab coat. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think in terms of powers, that's where we're at for the release. So I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to allowing me to keep making mods for you guys. I'm really happy, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you.